Hey everyone, so this video is all about track groups. All right, off we go. All right, I'm going to create a new group with my guitars. To create a group, you can go to track group or Command G, which is what I usually use, and you will get the create group dialog. So, a couple things we can look at here. So first of all, you can have up to 104 groups, and that's because you can have up to 4 banks of group IDs that go between A and Z. So 4 times 26, we end up at 104. Then when you create your group, you can have it just be an edit group, just a mixed group, or both. Just so you know, you can also contain groups inside other groups. All right, so let's call this guitars. This will be my guitars edit and mix group. And I'm gonna hit OK. Just go with the defaults that are in there. Now, if I change the track size of my guitar group, if I choose one member, all the members change of the group. So it's a great quick way to do things like change all the track sizes for a set of instruments, or change the view to volume for all the guitars, right? So all of these things will be linked when they're grouped, which is really nice. You can also edit together. So I often have a group that's, for instance, in a podcast, you have 2 different vocals. So maybe the interviewer and the interviewee. Often it's really useful to edit the 2 at the same time, because if you're cutting chunks, say in shuffle mode to like delete a sentence, you want both of the tracks to move together, right? So you want them to continue to be linked. So if you have an edit group on that and you make an edit in one, it will also delete the audio in the other, and they will stay in line, which is really nice. And all your selections will be on both tracks. So that's super useful. I use that all the time for, say, podcast audio, or anytime I'm editing like a classical guitar track, maybe, where you have multiple mics on the same guitar. You have to keep those 2 tracks totally in line. Otherwise, your guitar is going to start to sound odd. So you can group, say, the 2 mics that are on your piano or guitar, and then all the edits you do, you'll always be editing them together, and you don't have to worry about them getting out of sync. So super useful. Also allows you to select a whole group really easily. So if I want to select all the guitars at once in one easy swoop, I can go over to my groups window here and just click in this little circle column, and it will automatically select all of those for me, which is really nice. That's a really fast way to then create a send, because I can use my do to selected shortcut, which is Shift Option or Shift Alt on a Windows machine, and then add a send to all of those really quickly. Now, a couple other things you should know about that little circle there. So if I have something selected outside of the group, my little circle will then have, it'll be a bigger circle with a smaller dot inside. So that means everything in my group is selected and something outside of the group is selected. Then if I have just a member of a group selected, I get a open circle. So something of the group is selected. And then if everybody's selected again, and I can get that just by clicking on that circle, then it will be a filled in circle. Now, if I don't want, for a minute, maybe I don't want to edit all of these guitar tracks at once. Maybe I just want one. I can disable the group as well so that I can work on a single guitar. To do that, you just click on the group name. It will become unselected there, and then I can do whatever I want with my single tracks. And then when I'm ready to do everything together again, then I can select that and go back to using the group. So that's really easy. You can also suspend all groups. So say that I have 5 or 6 different groups here, and I don't want any of them in effect right now. I can very easily just suspend all the groups. And let's make one more group real quick before I do that, just so we can see a few. So let's make a backup vocals group 2, Command G. I get my create group. We're going to go BG vocals. And you can see who's in the group. If I missed something or needed to add something else, I could always click over here and hit add, and I would get another track in the group. I'm just going to hit OK though. And now I have background vocals and a guitars and the all group, which we'll talk about in a sec. So if I want to suspend all of those for a minute, I can use this dropdown, and click suspend all groups. And you'll notice all the groups gray out. So that means no groups are in effect at the moment. And then I can uncheck it to get them back. You can also do this up here. So notice that my background vocals have a BGVox group here. You can modify that group from here. You can see what tracks are part of it. You can also delete the group from here by hitting delete. So also, just so you know, that's only for active groups. So if I don't have that active, it will show no group up here, which really means it's currently not an active group. So this drop down here in the mix window is only for active groups. So if I turn on the backup vocals, we'll see that they're in that group and it's active. And if there's more than one group that this track is a member of, they will all get listed in this dropdown. So again, to delete a group, we can do it here from this dropdown. You can also do it, I'm going to highlight that. I can also use the dropdown to go delete active group. And if there's more than one, it'll say delete active groups. And if we do that, then we will remove all those groups. So careful when you do that, because you might delete things that you don't really want to get rid of. Finally, the all group. So the all group is automatic. You can't delete it. It will always be there. And it's really useful for just, for instance, so maybe at the loudest points in your song, you're peaking on the way out. So this is a little bit hot coming out of the master, the main outputs, right? Your master fader here. So what if I just need to preserve the balance of the mix, but just turn everything down a little bit so that the master isn't overloading? Well, with the all group enabled, I can just pull one down. They're all on right now. Notice all the tracks are selected, and I can just pull down and they will all come down a little bit. And then I can turn it off and bring my master back up to 0. And then I'll have the same relationship between the volumes of all the different tracks, but I won't be peaking. And now we're fine. Cool, so that's a really nice way to kind of attenuate the entire output, because as you keep adding tracks, of course, the output keeps getting hotter. So if you need to just bring everybody down a little bit so that the master is no longer peaking, then you can just use the all group to do that. So it's also a great way to, select them all. You can do all kinds of things. Maybe you just want to start over completely. You can hold down Option and click one fader while the all group is on, and they will all go back to 0. So another quick way to hit the reset button. But that's no fun if you really were careful about these and they're all gone all of a sudden. So careful with that one. And that's kind of it for track groups. Okay, see you in the next one.